that car up, getting to where he is. Paul Manuel certainly looks comfortable in third place at this stage, but there's still plenty of racing to go.
Angus Fogg still in the 9th position, the championship leader, but effectively that points lead has been nearly halved. Big mover in the field, Timmy Edgell from the back of the grid after a penalty from race 1, turning John Penny around. He is up into the 14th position. John McIntyre definitely gaining. That gap has closed to just 3/10. And it's a little bit tighter than that because he's right up underneath the rear wing of the Retco Ford.
Yeah, let's look at the timing monitor here. These two guys battling, Bargwanna and Johnny McIntyre. Last lap times 1:37.1 respectively each. Paul Manuel, who's really in his own fresh air, 36.7. Kane Scott behind him, 36.9. So this battle out the front, as we see out the front of Johnny McIntyre's car, is costing these guys half a second a lap. So in the next lap or so, we're going to see Paul Manuel, possibly Kane Scott, right on the back of these guys.
Yeah, Paul Manuel, the fastest on track that last lap. But next car into shot behind Andy Booth, Craig Baird is also on the move. He was the second quickest driver in that last lap. There's Knight going through ahead of Angus Fogg, back to 9th in this race. Miraculous run at the start of race number 1 around the outside. And we've got problems here. Hayden McKenzie. There are some oil flags out there on the circuit, Mark, just listening to race control.
Yeah, that's, I don't know whether that car is called oil or he's actually gone off on the oil, but either way, given what happened at Timaru, all the communication at the moment down pit lane will be to the drivers saying, guys, turns 1, 2 and 3 is very slippery because the team's paid the price for not communicating to the drivers at Timaru, and I'm rest assured that won't happen again.
So Jason Bargwanna, they're starting to stack up. He's just maybe losing a little bit of speed because Manuel and Kane Scott are definitely closing up on the back of John McIntyre's tallies forward. On board with McIntyre now, 2-time former series champ. There's Paul Manuel ranging up underneath the rear wing.
Now this is the part where it's been talked, there's actually oil on the ground, so if there is, it certainly hasn't affected any of these front guys. They've gone through 2, 3, coming up to 4. So I thought it was going to be a factor. Certainly has not.
Jason Bargwanna using all of the racetrack, trying to stave off the advantage of John McIntyre. Paul Manuel still the leading Holden in 3rd. We've still got 3 Holdens inside the top 6. Andy Booth starting to make some gains on Scott McLaughlin, on board with Kane Scott. There's problems there. Flat right front tyre for Simon Richards in the Eurodrive Ford. It's all starting to happen there. He just about didn't make the turn into the pit entrance.
One of those things is when you've got a flat tyre and you're still barreling out there, you're doing 60 or 70 odd K. Chances of stopping aren't particularly great. That's exactly what we saw.
So with Angus Fogg in 9th, John McIntyre there in the 2nd position. The other championship contenders, Kane Scott running in 4th. Craig Baird in 7th. The championship lead, you reckon, Mark, is what, 24 points to the advantage of Angus Fogg?
Yeah, to Kane Scott, Craig Baird back 40 points, and then Johnny McIntyre, here's the one that's made the biggest gain here on Angus Fogg, now only 69 points in arrears.
There's Timmy Edgell, he's working his way through. Nick Ross, so Edgell is battling for the 14th and 15th positions. Edgell, of course, starting from about grid position 20 at the start of this one.
Yeah, let's not read too much into this with Timmy because of his car speed, because after this, they've got the, here he goes, a bit of a replay. Looks like Martin Short, Timmy Edgell on there, contesting it with a wing mirror flying off. There you go. What I was alluding to, Jamie, don't read much into this with Timmy Edgell's car speed because they would have put probably the worst set of tyres on for this race to get through because the reverse grid race is the one this afternoon. Everybody 20 laps, of course, so they'll be saving the best for last. No, they've got to get through the traffic. He'll probably start middle of the field, so sometimes you've got to give a little to make a little at the other end.
Well, Paul Manuel will be a happy camper in the cockpit of the Oryx Holden. He's running right there with John McIntyre. Seen certainly signs of speed from the Oryx Commodore, but not as consistent as the Manuel team would have liked, but they certainly look to be right on it here.
The thing that you can take encouragement from is that Johnny McIntyre's not actually being held up by Jason Bargwanna, so the effort Paul's putting in here is 100% car speed.
Boothie off in the Rock FM Holden. Now, he was in
he was 6th place.
The 6th place, chasing down Scott McLaughlin, so that's going to assist Angus Fogg. What happened to Andy Booth?
So they go, Johnny McIntyre sideways. Paul Manuel's got a run. There you go. That's a bit of smoke coming out of one of the brake ducts, which leads to the front of the car. I actually thought Paul Manuel had a run on Johnny McIntyre then. Johnny got a bit untidy coming off the last corner.
It's interesting you say that, Mark, because the last lap, Bargwanna was a 38.0, McIntyre was a 38.4, so McIntyre lost 4 tenths to Jason Bargwanna on the last lap. There's Scott McLaughlin. A little bit of the pressure's been taken off from behind him now with Booth gone. That'll bring Craig Baird up a position, Andy Knight and Angus Fogg.
Correct. More importantly, it brings Angus Fogg up to the 8th position, so that points lost to the other two, it's dropped off by 3 or 4 points. So what have we got? This race is becoming quite processional now. Last lap, no one's going to do anything silly.
Yeah, the last lap board is out for Jason Bargwanna, looking for his second win. At the start of the weekend, I'm not going to gloat more, but I did say watch out for Jason Bargwanna. He's going to be a force this weekend.
Yeah, it certainly did, mate, but to be honest, it took you 6 rounds to get a right course, so we'll give that one to you.
To be fair, good comeback, Mr. Pedersen, but take nothing away from Jason Bargwanna. He's doing a great job, and he's putting on the flame show for the fans here at Taupo as well. John McIntyre losing a little bit of ground, so there'll be one happy Australian behind the wheel of the Retco Ford at the end of this one. You did say he was going to be pretty hard to get past. It'd be a wide old Ford for a few laps there.
Yeah, it was, but he's done lap 2 all the way up to here we go, lap 10. On merit. He hasn't been defensive, he's just driving his natural lines, and this is an experience coming out. He races pretty much every other weekend, whether it be in the New Zealand Championship or the Aussie Supercars. But here we go. Kane Scott. No, nothing will come of this. This has become a horsepower drag. Full manual go hard to the left-hand side, make Kane Scott go around the outside.
So Angus Fogg with approximately a 30-point advantage. If the race finishes in this order, Jason Bargwanna, the last sequence of quarters for race number 2 of the NZV8 here at Taupo. He will take the victory for the Taupo Motorsport team on board with Kane Scott, trying to get a run on Manuel, but Manuel 2 got out of the final corner. Bargwanna, McIntyre, Manuel, Scott, Scotty McLaughlin, Craig Baird will finish 6th ahead of Andy Knight with Angus Fogg in 8th. So Jason Bargwanna with the victory here at Taupo. His second win of the championship ahead of John McIntyre, with Paul Manuel in 3rd, Kane Scott in 4th, Scott McLaughlin in 5th, Craig Baird in 6th. Angus Fogg in 8th now has just a 27-point lead over Kane Scott with 1 race left to go and 1 round left to go at Hamilton.